Hi everyone, so in the second part of They Saw the Future, I'm going to be talking about Nostradamus. In the first part, I talked about Hildegard of Bingen, and I recommend checking that out before watching this video. The link to that video is in the description box below. The second visionary I'm going to be talking about is the French physician and astrologer Michel de Nostradamus, or Nostradamus, who became most famous for his predictions, and which, according to scholars, half of which already came true. Nostradamus was born in 1503 in France. During this time, the religious influence on everyday life was starting to break down, and society was taking its first steps towards separating the church and the state. However, the one thing that persisted throughout the European Renaissance was its love for the occult. It was now stronger than ever, with over 30,000 psychics or fortune tellers working just out of Paris alone. Nostradamus grew up as an outsider. His parents practiced their Jewish faith in secret after publicly converting to Catholicism under the threat of banishment. Nostradamus was faulted for his obsession with astrology and even acquired the nickname the Little Astrologer in medical school. As a doctor, he specialized in the bubonic plague, the highly infectious disease that swept across Europe and Asia and killed millions. The disease caused large black blisters to form and caused a great amount of pain for its victims. While other doctors prescribed bleeding techniques to treat the plague, Nostradamus was inspired by Islamic readings, and he prescribed fresh air, clean water, and rose pills to treat it. While he was able to help whole towns by using these techniques and methods, the disease ended up taking the lives of his own wife and children. Because he wasn't able to save his own wife and children, his own friends and family turned against him. And at the same time, he was summoned by church to face trial for remarks he made about demons years prior. So because of all this, he decided to pack his belongings and he left. He returned 10 years later, but he became known for a different talent: his ability to accurately predict the future. He now remarried a rich widow, and he went on to have 6 more children. He converted the top floor of their house into a study, which he filled with books on the occult. No one was able to enter his study, and he spent only 4 hours a night sleeping, and he would spend the remainder of the time working. It seems that Nostradamus arrived at his predictions by relying on a mixture of occult techniques. He was able to see apparitions in a bowl of steaming hot water and oils. He spent hours looking at horoscopes from the past and by looking at maps to see where stars and other heavenly bodies were positioned on particular dates and times. He asked for divine help in summoning up particular dates and names. He would also use meditation and other techniques he picked up on his travels. He began to write what he saw, and he wrote prophecies, a collection of rhymed prophecies that foretell the entire future of the world. And although he received massive backlash from the church, prophecies went on to become one of the most widely read books in the world. Since anything pagan or pre-Christian was punishable by death, Nostradamus would often conceal his work by writing in different languages, by scrambling his words, or by making the language really obscure to others. He even predicted the death of King Henry II, which actually happened within his own lifetime, and it made him quite popular and intriguing to others. He predicted that the king would die in a jousting accident. He wrote, "A young lion will face the old in traditional combat. He shall be pierced through a gilded cage, 2 wounds made 1. The jousting accident happened almost exactly how he predicted it. Both men had lions on their shields, and the large shards went through his gilded visor, one penetrating into his brain and the other one into his eye. After the king's death, his reputation as a seer grew rapidly, and he was even summoned by Queen Catherine to Paris, and he became her personal astrologer, and he went on to have friends in very high places. Experts believe that he predicted the rise of Hitler. In one segment, he wrote that from the depths of the west of Europe, a child will be born of poor people. He who by his tongue will seduce a great trap, his fame will increase toward the realm of the east. By west of Europe, he could have meant Germany. And although Hitler was of middle class, he was homeless at one point, and he was able to seduce a great number of people. In another segment, he wrote that beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers, and that the greater part of the battlefield will be against Hitler. By crossing of the rivers, that could be a reference to Germany invading other countries, and Hitler could obviously be a reference to Hitler. People also believe that he predicted the 9/11 when he said that an earth-shaking fire will cause tremors around the new city, and when he said that the two great rocks will war for a long time. The new city could be a reference to New York City, and the two rocks could be a reference to the Twin Towers. In another segment, he also said that two steel birds will fall from the sky on the metropolis, and that the sky will burn at 45 degrees latitude. The two birds falling from the sky could be reference to the planes, and the sky burning at 45 degrees latitude could be a reference to New York City, which lies at 40 degrees north. Experts believe that he predicted the moon landings, amongst many other things. They believe that he predicted 3 antichrists that would move humanity towards total destruction. The French Emperor Napoleon and Hitler are generally considered the first two, but the third is still yet unknown. Around the year 2000, he saw many natural disasters and wars, and he described this as a time where everyone in the world would begin to be numbered, recorded, and categorized. He saw some kind of an apocalypse around the year 2828, but his statements of visions go up to the year 8000. His last vision or prediction was of his own death in 1566. He described that he would be found in his bed beside his bench, and that is exactly how he was found at the age of 63. What I find interesting is that both Hildegard and Nostradamus received their visions when they were fully lucid and wide awake. They also both felt the need to write them down and record them, but they also wanted to conceal them to some extent. Hildegard created an entire fake language and kept her visions secret for so long, and Nostradamus wrote in cryptic ways so as to conceal some of his work. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I really hope you enjoyed them. If you did, please let me know, and have a great day.